retire. Cecilia suffered her first loss in 11 years as a professional fighter. McCaskill, on the other hand, only has 10 professional fights. The fight was a hard-fought welterweight contest between the two women, and even though Ringside Network had scored in favor of Breakhouse, the decision really could have gone either way. In confirming the rematch, Breakhouse told RSN she thought she did not fight at 100%, and she didn't want to go out on a career worst performance. She felt she owed it to her fans all over the world. I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for her to retire. What do you think?
Listen, I think to each his own. We can't tell these fighters when to give up the sport, but I'm telling you, how about female boxing over the last 3, 4, 5 years? I mean, there are so many great notable female fighters to really watch and to follow, especially on social media.
So who are some of your favorite female boxers?
It's an excellent, that's a body shot question. Caught me off guard on that one. Listen, Amanda, the Serrano sisters, Heather Hardy, who made the transition from boxing to MMA, Christina Cruz, who grew up in Hell's Kitchen, was a storied amateur boxer on the New York boxing scene. And then we have to pay homage to the Mia St. Johns and the Maureen O'Shea's of the world, the $1 million babies. So, but I tend to agree with you. You know, at times you hate to see some of these fighters retire, but sometimes it is also in their best interest.
I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're going to have to fingers crossed on that one, but I'm telling you, keep it locked in with a lot of these female fighters. They're doing a heck of a job. Excellent segment, Charisma. We appreciate it. All right, so listen, as we start rolling along, we got to remind you guys to get social with us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at @RSN_TV. And the reason you're going to have to do that, and hashtag boxing around the globe, because later on in the program, Charisma already made mention of it before, Alex Hamer is going to give us his pound for pound top 10 Ringside Network list. And you guys are going to want to hashtag boxing around the globe. You're going to want to hashtag the Ringside Network. You're going to want to hashtag, you can hashtag Alex Hamer. It doesn't matter, because I know it's going to be a controversial list. We're going to step aside. When we come back, I'm going to give you a little insight on a little segment, a little drama going on between some of the media, some of the networks, some of the CEOs. We like to title that one, The Hatfield and McCoy's Boxing Around the Globe continues right after this.
My name is Dan Gattuso, owner of Dry Guys Basement Systems. We cover all of southern New Jersey and southeast Pennsylvania. One of our biggest parts of our industry is basement and crawl space waterproofing. We offer things that nobody in that industry can. There's a lot of patented products we use that actually allows you to straighten your walls even over time. If you have a bowed wall, we can straighten it out for you. We're not afraid to stand behind products we know are the best in the industry.
Let Ed Sr. and his staff at Samson Motors show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Philadelphia. Samson Motors believes in fair prices, superior service, and treating you right. Their knowledgeable staff is there for you. Credit issues? Not at Samson Motors. Let Marcus from their finance department help you. Call Marcus at 215-288-6050. That's 215-288-6050. You can find Samson Motors in the Great Northeast at 6221 Harbinson Avenue in Philadelphia. Check out their large pre-owned inventory anytime at SamsonMotorsPhilly.com.
Welcome back, boxing fans, to this edition of Boxing Around the Globe, exclusively on the Ringside Network, your ringside seat. Rich Quinones here, back in the saddle. And, you know, as we start to really get into the show, we got to remind you, we'll close it out with a preview of Lopez and Lomachenko. And then, of course, Alex is going to provide his Ringside Network top 10 pound-for-pound list. But we always love, who doesn't love a good feud? Who doesn't love a little controversy? Well, we got one for you this time with the media and some CEOs and some fighters alike. A feud recently erupted between Ring Magazine and Showtime. Ring Magazine editor Doug Fisher, oh, you gotta love Doug Fisher's Dougie's Daily Mailbag, if you will. He does every month, always stirs the pot. He wrote an article indicating that Showtime, which is owned by CBS, lost money when it landed pay-per-view king Floyd Mayweather's 7-fight mega deal almost a decade ago. We're still arguing about this stuff. The barbs immediately started flying in Twitter because, hey, it's social media, and they started to go back and forth Showtime executive Steven Espinoza and the Mayweather camp, they came out swinging. They were down, but they got back up. And of course, who led the charge? Leonard Ellaby, the president of Mayweather Promotions. He said the numbers, they don't lie. He released a figure showing that in 7 fights, Mayweather sold 14,415,000 pay-per-view buys. Oh my God, I got to look again to see that. The revenue generated 7 fights, $1,306 million. So just absorb that number for a second. Unbelievable. Do not expect this feud to stop anytime soon. This is the power of social media. And I think at the end of the day, Floyd, he still wants to remain the king of pay-per-view. Well, we're the king, if we like to think so, when it comes to the inside track on everything that's going on in the world of boxing. So keep it locked in, because when we come back, our boxing expert, Alex Hamer, will break down an exclusive with Alex. He'll break down Lopez, Lomachenko, October 17th. Belts on the line, careers on the line, money on the line. We're going to get his thoughts as Boxing Around the Globe continues right here on the Ringside Network, your ringside seat.
Let Ed Sr. and his staff at Samson Motors show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Philadelphia. Samson Motors believes in fair prices, superior service, and treating you right. Their knowledgeable staff is there for you. Credit issues? Not at Samson Motors. Let Marcus from their finance department help you. Call Marcus at 215-288-6050. That's 215-288-6050. You can find Samson Motors in the Great Northeast at 6221 Harbington Avenue in Philadelphia. Check out their large pre-owned inventory anytime at SamsonMotorsPhilly.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Boxing Around the Globe, exclusively on the Ringside Network. Rich Quinones here again. And as we start to look ahead to the boxing calendar, we're happy about this next fight coming up October 17th, Vasily Lomachenko against Teofimo Lopez. A lot of belts on the line, and help us handicap it, break it down from an analyst standpoint, our boxing expert, Alex Hamer. And Alex, it's great for you to join us on this edition of Boxing Around the Globe. And this is going to be a heck of a fight October 17th.
Absolutely, Rich. And we are looking forward to October 17th out in Las Vegas at the MGM Conference Center. Bob Arum indicated from Top Rank that there will be fans in attendance, but most importantly, the press will be allowed to attend, and we hope to be among them. But let's get to the fight. Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko. This is so interesting. The records, respectively, are Vasily Lomachenko is 14-1. Teofimo Lopez is 15-0. But don't let the records fool you, okay? Not a lot of fights, but let me talk about Lomachenko first. The Russian won 2 consecutive gold medals in 2008 Olympics and the 2012 Olympics. He had 400 amateur fights. Let me repeat that. 400 amateur fights, and his record was 399-1. He fought 400 times and only lost 1 fight. His nickname is High Tech, okay? And he's truly a genius in the ring and a sight to behold. Let me talk about the new kid on the block, Lopez. He has all the swagger that you want to see, okay? He's boisterous, he's good, and he's strong. He hits like a bull, and he comes to fight. So this, I see, is my candidate fight of the year. I expect no less out in Las Vegas, Rich, for the bombs to flow on October 17th in Las Vegas with Vasily Lomachenko, the Russian gold medalist, versus the upstart Teofimo Lopez.
And you mentioned when Lomachenko, the Ukrainian southpaw, as you mentioned and indicate his record 14-1. They both have knockout power between them. 22 combined in their careers. Lomachenko suffers an early loss in his career to Salido, but now he's ripped off 13. And I like what you said about Lopez. Here's a kid where we always want to crown the next boxer, the next fighter, but this is a major step up in class, if you will. And we always talk about some styles. Do you see this fight, Lomachenko trying to break him down early on, going for the knockout, or Lopez try to feel him out a little bit early on?
That's an excellent question, Rich. I don't see Lomachenko necessarily trying to feel him out. I think they're going to come, and see what everyone has in the beginning. They're coming to test each other out. As they say in the boxing world, I'm trying to see you, okay? And they're going to come early and test the waters. Let me give you an example. When Lopez won his title from the kid from Ghana, he came right out in the first ring, no feeling out. He came out to test him, and that's what he did, and I think that's what he'll do to Vasyl Lomachenko as well.
Yeah, IBF, WBO titles on the line. And again, not a bad payday, $2 million for Lopez, 2.7 for Lomachenko. So, the incentive is right there with the purse per se, but it is going to be highlighted as a marquee fight to get boxing back.
This is a marquee fight. The strange thing is going to be shown on ESPN rather than pay-per-view because of the climate, the COVID-19. It's going to be on ESPN and not pay-per-view. So millions more people, Rich, will get to see this fight as it comes down on October 17th.
All right, excellent breakdown. Don't go anywhere. We're going to need you in a little bit when we come back. We're going to step aside. Great segment, as always, with Alex Hamer. When we come back, Alex will present the Ringside Network, his top 10. These are his top 10. So you know what? If you guys disagree with him, you can get on him on social media, and you know what? He'll respond, and he'll tell you exactly why he chose the Ringside Network's pound for pound top 10. Keep it locked in as we close out another edition of Boxing Around the Globe right after this.
Let Ed Sr. and his staff at Samson Motors show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Philadelphia. Samson Motors believes in fair prices, superior service, and treating you right. Their knowledgeable staff is there for you. Credit issues? Not at Samson Motors. Let Marcus from their finance department help you. Call Marcus at 215-288-6050. That's 215-288-6050. You can find Samson Motors in the Great Northeast at 6221 Harbinson Avenue in Philadelphia. Check out their large pre-owned inventory anytime at SamsonMotorsPhilly.com.
Welcome back, boxing fans, and this is our final round, the final bell, if you will, for this edition of Boxing Around the Globe. Thanks again for keeping us locked in. Rich Quinones here, and we always try to go out with a bang, a liver shot, if you will, a body shot, and we typically like to do it in this fashion as we welcome in our boxing expert, Alex Hamer, with his always controversial, sometimes, what are you thinking, Alex, your top 10, the Ringside Network, top 10 pound for pound, and I'm telling you guys right now, you can get on Twitter and go back and forth. You can always follow us on social media at Ringside Network. So it's pretty easy. At RSN_TV to argue, to debate, and maybe for once agree with Alex in his top 10.
Thanks, Rich. The top 10 is very, very unique this time because of the environment that we find ourselves in. But let me get started. My number 10, Gervonta Davis. Tank is going to fight Leo Santa Cruz soon, and he's going to prove that he belongs in the top 10. So number 10, I have Gervonta Davis. Number 9, Anthony Joshua from Europe. I know Anthony lost to Ruiz, but he came back and he knocked Ruiz out. So my number 9 is Anthony Joshua. Number 8, Leo Santa Cruz. Leo, like I just said, is coming to fight Gervonta Davis, and the winner of that fight may indeed knock out the loser out of the top 10. My number 7 is Manny Pacquiao. How can you leave Manny out. You know, I'm prejudiced because of the body of work, but you have to take it into consideration. You can't leave it out. My number 6 is Naoya Inoue from Japan. He's the bantamweight champion right now, multiple weight divisions, WBC, WBA. You can't leave him out. He travels and he can fight. Number 5, Deontay Wilder, okay? We know he lost to Tyson Fury, but you can't knock him out of the top 10 based on one fight. He should be in the top 10. Let's not forget, again, I hate to use the word, but body of work. He knocked out everybody you put in front of him, and now that he's lost one, you know, and tied one, of course, he should still remain in the top 10. My next fighter is Terrence Crawford. I gotta put Bud in because he's just great. Before he moved up to 147 to the welterweight, he was a junior welterweight, and if you recall, like I do, he held all 4 belts, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO belt at 140. Name somebody who can do that, can say, I have all 4 belts. Bud did it. He wiped out the junior welterweight division and then moved up to 147. Okay, my number 3 is Tyson Fury, okay? Tyson Fury moves up because he came to America and he saw and he conquered. Back on February 22nd, everybody remembers what happened, and I think, as we reported earlier, that they're going to fight again, hopefully in December, at that new beautiful stadium that the Raiders play football in right now. My number 2 is Vasyl Lomachenko. We already indicated that that fight is going to be with Lopez, my candidate for Fight of the Year. So Vasyl Lomachenko I have as number 2. Now, drum roll, number 1, Canelo Alvarez. No, his lawyer didn't call me up and say, you better put him in there or he'll sue me like he's suing Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and DAZN. But here's my pick for number 1. Canelo was a no-brainer to me. His last fight, Canelo went up from 160 pounds to 175 pounds, all the way up to light heavyweight division, and knocked out Sergey Kovalev, the hard-hitting Russian, which placed him pound for pound as my number 1 boxer for this segment. Okay, Rich?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm okay with this. I mean, there's always something in there where we can go back and forth and dispute. I mean, look, if Earl Spence doesn't have his accident, you have Garcia's out there, multiple Garcias out there, and Danny and Mikey. You know, Pacquiao, maybe it's a little sentiment, but I like the fact that you said the body of work. You know, heavyweights, we're starting to see them climb up a little bit, and the Gypsy King, I like his placement. Canelo, let's see what transpires down the road with Canelo and how these fights are going to shape out.
I think that's an excellent point, you know, Rich. I love Errol Spence, you know, but for that accident, he would have been in my top 10 because he probably would have had a couple more fights. I love Mikey Garcia. Mikey is fearless. He'll fight anyone. So after a couple of fights, we'll see how the top 10 shakes out again, but this is how we have it for now.
And that's the operative word, for now, because we started the show as we start to come full circle with the pandemic, and I know we're still dealing with it, but it's great to be back talking boxing with you, Alex. Excellent job with the Ringside Network Top 10, the pound for pound, and of course, don't forget, you can always follow us on social media. You can tweet at us. We'll post everything out there at RSN_TV, and if you're just new to the program, again, this is Boxing Around the Globe, your exclusivity, if you will, when it comes to the world of boxing 24/7. We break down the fight. We have analysts, experts, top 10 list that you guys, we call bar talk. You guys can argue when you're out and about with your friends watching some of these fights on our network, by the way. Classic fights, if you will. Black and white fights when boxing was really in its heyday. I mean, just stick a little transistor radio next to me the next time we can listen to some of these old school fights. And we always try to give you a little bit of an edge with some passion, some entertainment, some insight and knowledge. And that's why you have to keep it locked into the Ringside Network TV and, of course, Boxing Around the Globe. For Charisma McElwain, for Alex Hamer, I'm Rich Quinones. We appreciate you guys joining us for this edition of Boxing Around the Globe. And as always, we'll see you next time ringside.
Let Ed Sr. and his staff at Samson Motors show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Philadelphia. Samson Motors believes in fair prices, superior service, and treating you right. Their knowledgeable staff is there for you. Credit issues? Not at Samson Motors. Let Marcus from their finance department help you. Call Marcus at 215-288-6050. That's 215-288-6050. You can find Samson Motors in the Great Northeast at 6221 Harbinson Avenue in Philadelphia. Check out their large pre-owned inventory anytime at SamsonMotorsPhilly.com.
После этого боя я бокс стала воспринимать совершенно по-другому. Для меня это стало больше, чем спорт. Здесь очень все серьезно, и теперь, когда мой муж идет на бой, я уже больше переживаю за какие-то последствия, чем за какой-то выигрыш.
I never thought the tragedy could happen. Not even in my mind. Something could happen like that.
Referees better watch out because that boy's gonna hurt somebody.
This is sport. This is not war.
I don't know how much this guy can take. Is anybody gonna stop that?
The most feared light heavyweight in the world comes from humble beginnings.
I grew up in Chelyabinsk. Chelyabinsk gave me everything to be world champion. I used to box for nothing. I fought a lot outside on the streets.
He grew up in a very poor environment. So he opened a refrigerator and there's like 2 or 3 eggs in the refrigerator. That's a good day.
When you decided to become a professional boxer, were you making any money early on?
No, I didn't. I made money from the streets. They paid to us just like bodyguards. Nobody wanted to fight with us because everybody knows that we are boxers, that we had the power.
After winning several amateur title fights in Russia, Kovalev rose rapidly up the ranks. He turned professional in 2009 at the age of 26. Over the next 2.5 years, he fought frequently, compiling an impressive record of 16-1.
He was developing quickly because he had gotten used to what we wanted to do in the gym, and his confidence by that time was through the roof. In his mind, nobody could beat him.
When Aegis called me and said that my next opponent is Roman Simakov, I said yes, I'm ready. When? Let's do it.
Well, it was a fight against, I believe he was Pan-Asian champion, number 12 in the world, number 11 in the world. So it was a big, important fight for Sergey. We were going to Russia to fight it. It wasn't Simikov's hometown, but it was in Russia. Actually, it's a real old arena, like a ice hockey rink. His hometown is not that far from this place. He had a big cheering section. I remember him not in the dressing room, really not being nervous. From the beginning, Sergey was hitting him with anything he wanted to hit him with, and Simikov was taking everything. He was getting hit with solid shots. And it seemed like it was going to be an easy fight.
It was like probably third round when I thought in my mind, like, why you need it? Stop the fight, like, say stop. I delivered a lot of hard punches, you know. I already felt that my face is like feeling pain, you know.
He was hitting him. He was hitting him a lot. You could hear the thud in the corner, and I'm sure that Roman felt them, but he was that kind of a warrior, and Sergey wasn't going to stop.
Sergey came after fourth round in the corner. He looked at me and he goes like Aegis. He says, everything I throw, it's landing. I don't know how much this guy can take it. Is anybody going to stop that?
Between the fifth and sixth round, I said to Sergey, stop hitting him to the head. Give me body shots. You know, stop hitting him to the head. That's enough. And unfortunately for us and for Roman came out in the sixth to try to take Sergey's head off. And Sergey had no choice but to fire back or get hit. I motioned to the referee, stop this fight. It's getting to the point where the guy has no chance to win. The way he went down, helpless like that, it was, something was wrong.
They took Roman on the stretcher. I already went right away into the area. I saw Roman. It's already kind of like turning blue.
Yeah, in a couple hours, like somebody said me, like he's in the hospital, and he has a huge problem with his head. I was very worried about him. I was really like nervous.
Шок для всех. Сергей очень переживал, он не спал ночами. Я не помню, сколько ночей уже. Он постоянно пересматривал бой. Мы ходили в церковь, когда он еще был в госпитале, в коме. Мы ходили, ставили за него свечку. Надеялись на выздоровление какое-то.
I got to the church and asked to the God bless him. Yeah, bless him and help to him. And yeah, 3 days he was in the hospital in the coma, and he didn't wake.
His trainer called me. My telephone rings, and it was a disaster. When I heard that voice, trainer kind of like, he goes like, he passed away.
And did you call Sergey after that, or did he already know?
I called Sergey. By Sergey's voice, I realized he already knows what's going on.
What was talking to him like at that moment?
It wasn't impossible to talk, so tell you the truth, we both were crying in the phone.
I was lost. I was lost like about 1 month.
Но самое плохое, что он немножко закрылся в себе. Это такой человек, который он все внутри себя переживает. Он очень редко показывает эмоции свои кому-то. То есть он изначально так воспитан, и он не показывает ничего. Поэтому он все внутри переживал.
The unfortunate thing, I think, as I recall, was there was some negative talk from the family towards Sergey.
And I got Roman's father's phone number, and they said, Mrs. Aegis, I'm a Sergey Kovalov manager, and he goes like, oh, you guys are killers, you're murderers, you're this, you took my son away. And...
И многие люди, которые фанаты Симакова, друзья Симакова, соответственно, восприняли эту ситуацию мне, как будто это виноват Сергей.
The Simakov family continues to feel the overwhelming pain of the loss of their son and took legal matters into their own hands, pressing for charges to be filed against Sergey. Kovalev has been interviewed several times by Russian police. According to Klimas, the family is pursuing charges to this day.
Lucky for Sergey, his manager, Aegis, I believe, gave him about 5 or 6 months off.
I'm going to ask you one time and I'm not going to come back no more. Are you going back in the ring?
When I awake from this situation, yes, I didn't want to fight, but I saw that I have nothing from the boxing since 11. I had just like a small apartment and nothing more. I decided that I must to fight, continue to fight for me and for him together.
У него ответственность перед его близкими, родными. Он единственный, кто может помочь своей семье. Если это не бокс, то что тогда? Он не умеет продавать, он не бизнесмен, он боксер.
I'm ready for any situation in my life because if life gives you some problems, you should to and must you resolve this situation.
6 months after the Simikov fight, Sergey was back in the ring, and a career, once on the brink of being derailed, didn't skip a beat. In August of 2013, Kovalev beat Nathan Cleverly to become the light heavyweight champion of the world, a title he has held ever since. On July 11th, Kovalev will fight for the first time again on Russian soil against Isaac Chilemba in the same venue where the tragedy with Simikov unfolded.
I'm surprised that he's talking about it. I'm surprised because it's a hurt that will never go away. It's a hurt that every time you bring it back, reminds you of some bad times. Not only Roman's death, but the feeling of being blamed for it, the feeling of not really celebrating what you had just done.
Have you ever, since then, talked to anyone from his family?
No, not yet.
Do you hope to see them while you're out there?
Yeah, I want it, yeah.
What would you say in that if you...
I don't know. Right now, I don't know what I can say to them. It's not easy still. I don't know like what I can say. I can say nothing, just to say hello and I'm sorry. I decided one day that I should to fight and I must to fight and continue to fight for me and for him together.
Sergey, how's your training coming along for November 8th? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for any day.
Let me ask you about your strategy. I understand that you're undefeated, and your opponent, Bernard Hopkins, calls himself the Alien. Do you think this fight will go the distance?
I have only one strategy: get my next win. And that's it. Yeah.
So your answer is it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it.
Yeah, doesn't matter, you know, like
Right.
score decision, knock him out, like anyway,
decision,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
It will be even interesting if it will be a long distance, you know, like it will be good action.
Right. Sergey, when will your camp start in earnest, and where are you going to train?
Usually I use two parts of my training camp before my fight, and first of two will be in California, and second one in Florida.
Okay.
At my hometown, not hometown, like where I live.
I understand.
Yes.
Sergey, if you could say anything to Bernard Hopkins right now, what would that be?
What I want to say?
To him.
Nothing. Everything.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I everything will say in the ring. I'm not talking, you know. Like, I'm fighter.
I understand. Yeah. All right, Sergey. Thank you very much, and good luck to you
thank you,
on
sir.
November 8th. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Спасибо.
Спасибо.
This is Rich Quinones, host of Boxing Around the Globe. We break down the fights. We have analysts, experts. We always try to give you a little bit of an edge with some passion, some entertainment, some insight and knowledge. And that's why you have to keep it locked into Boxing Around the Globe, exclusively on the Ringside Network.
Boxing Around the Globe. Catch it on the Ringside Network.
We all know this story by now. Locked away on a drug charge for 8.5 years, Amir Hardcore Mansour dedicated himself to honing his craft as a boxer. The day he was released from prison last August, he came straight to Dover Downs for his return fight, where he defeated Samuel Brown with a vicious right-handed hook, securing a second-round knockout. But his road to redemption didn't stop there. Mansour went up against Joseph Raybot in December. Raybot managed to hold Mansour off until the third round, when he unloaded a flurry of punches before the fight had to be stopped. A Alexis Mejias, Mansour's next opponent, was another victim of his massive power. Mejias went down in round 2 in a February bout at Dover Downs and had to be carried out of the ring on a stretcher, as others would soon follow suit. And most recently, Mansour took out Raymond O'Chang in the Rollins Center for the vacant WBF Intercontinental Heavyweight title. It didn't take long as Mansour won by TKO in the first round of what was a scheduled 10-round bout. It was evident from the opening bell that O'Chang wanted nothing to do with Mansour's brutal power. We had the pleasure of speaking with Amir during a training session at Johan Gym in Philadelphia as he prepped for tonight's bout against Dominic Gwynn. We talked about his career early on, but also life in prison and how it humbled him, and how he plans to take advantage of a second shot, which many of us never get. Amir also took time to reflect and give praise to those who have helped him during this journey. Mansour is a confident but yet realistic boxer and is fully aware that time is not a luxury in his quest to become the next heavyweight champion of the world. All right, Rich Quinones here, a couple minutes with a fighter who's quickly just storming up the ranks in the heavyweight division, Amir Mansour, a.k.a. Hardcore, but we'll get into that in a moment. Amir, you know, first and foremost, we appreciate a couple moments. How's training going as you're prepping for your fight, which really could be a defining one for you?
Everything's going good. We're having a good camp. You know, I'm getting a lot of good sparring with Chaz. You know, as I always say, you know, Chaz been really helping me out. You know, for the past year, he's been sparring with me, man, religiously, and I'm really learning a lot with him. He's so long, you know, he has a very good jab, and, you know, being a smaller heavyweight, you know what I'm saying, it's very beneficial for me to have such a big guy sparring with me all the time.
One of the worst things about Amir is that he can punch. You know, he's a strong puncher, and actually that's a good thing in boxing. But something that Amir has that other boxers don't have, and it's a rarity in boxing, is he has the speed and the power. And normally you have people that are strong, but they're normally slow. He's fast and strong, and he has good footwork. So he's been progressing great, you know, throughout the short amount of time he's actually been back and fighting.
It's interesting because you're taking on Dominic Gwynn, and you look at this bout, and you got a couple belts on the line. You got the IBF North American Heavyweight title, and then you have an opportunity to win and jump in the top 15 in WBO, but then you have another bout on the line, the NABO Heavyweight title as well, interim title that is. I mean, you look at where you were a year ago, and you look at the opportunity you have. Some would say, well, did you really dream this? Did you really see this coming?
I visualize it every day in the prison cell, man. When they say that you really can shape and mold your own destiny, your own future, it's true to me. And I believe that's why God gave us a will. And he gave us a will so that we can choose and shape and mold our own destiny. And, you know, life is about the choices that you make. And I've made some terrible choices in life, but I can't sit and dwell on that. I have to, you know, move forward and stay positive. So, you know, I'm making good choices, and it's paying off, and it's working out, and I'm dedicated to this. You know, I train hard, and so these are the fruits of my labor, the wins that I've had thus far, and the uprise that I've been able to, you know, unfold in this heavyweight division, because it's really wide open. And then we're not fighting a bunch of bums. We're fighting guys with twice as many wins as I have, twice as many knockouts as I've had wins, you know. So we're just trying to make a good impression with the people that, hey, Amir is serious and he can contend with the top guys in the world.
You know, I want to get to what you just touched on in a second, where you started your career 9-0, then obviously the situation, getting arrested, the drug charges, 8 years in jail. But a lot of people don't understand really your backstory. A lot of people want to know, all right, well, if when you step into the ring, when you want to take up boxing as a profession, you got to have a little craziness to you. You have to have some confidence. You have to have a drive. But something must have happened from when you were a kid that said to yourself, you know what, this is what I want to do. For those who don't really know, how did you really get involved in boxing?
I actually started boxing in a youth correctional facility. And they used to beat me up, man. I used to get, because I was one of the youngest guys in there. And I used to go back to my tier every day, blood on my T-shirt. They used to be like, this little guy is crazy. But I ended up beating those guys. I ended up winning a state championship throughout the correctional facilities in New Jersey. And so a lot of guys used to be like, man, you better go home and you know, get serious about this. And that was the beginning, you know.
You start your career 9-0, and then obviously after your last bout 8-9 years ago, that's when you got arrested. That's the drug charges. You were in jail for 8 years. You know, the one thing about you that I find interesting is you're a very stand-up guy. You make no bones about it. You know it was self-inflicted. You know it was your mistake. When those bars close and reality sets in, that first night in prison, you're by yourself. What's going through your mind? Is boxing the furthest from your mind?
No, actually, the minute I got arrested, I realized what foolishness I was partaking in. I realized the mistake that I made, and I knew that I was getting ready to do some time. You understand? And I just realized that I just squandered something that, you know, a gift that God gave me. I just squandered it, you know, and that was the realization. But then after that realization and being hard and down on myself, I said, you know what, the hardest part about being down is that you get up. And once you make that evolution, and once you do get up, then you have to go ahead and make the right choices. You got to make some good choices, some real good choices. And that's what I did. And you know, the worst part about being kicked down or being down is that you stay down, you know, and I wasn't going to stay down. And when that judge gave me 120 months, I swear to you, about 3 minutes later, I was in the holding cell. I knew I had to do some time, and I said, I'm not going to let this situation defeat me, and I began training immediately.
You obviously, you took care of yourself. I'm just wondering, you know, you were able to get a degree, but I know in doing a little research and reading, you know, interesting, you know, one of your cellmates or one of the guys in your block, you were able to kind of forge a little friendship with from a boxing standpoint. What did you do to stay in shape? And a lot of people, you know what, physical, yeah, what do you do in the joint? You lift weights and you eat and you sleep. I'm wondering what you did mentally to stay straight and understand that, hey, if I get a chance to get out, I'm going to turn it around, do something with my life, continue with boxing.
Well, the first thing I did was just pray, man. You know what I'm saying? I just prayed. I tried to, you know, form a relationship with God. And then once I did that, you know, I became peaceful. And I said, you know what, I really believe in myself, you know. And then I was fortunate enough to be incarcerated with Calvin Davis, the guy you're talking about. He was professional, 24-1, very, very intelligent when it comes to boxing. And then he's about 5'9", with the heart and mouth of a 10-foot guy. So he used to just, oh man, he used to rack my nerves, but he was very motivational and he was very technical when it came to boxing. He helped me form a certain type of defense that is very, very crucial in my whole boxing, you know, game. And when I came home, everything that I came home with, my trainer had already, you know, trained me before I, you know, went to prison. So when I came home with a little bit of a different style, and he just worked on it and worked with me and reminded me of all the things he taught me. And, you know, this is what you got, man.
That first fight coming back, when you served your time and you did what you had to do, did you find yourself wanting to just throw yourself back into the ring, put everything behind you, go forward? Was your mentality, you know what, can I still do this? Because it's an 8-year layoff. I mean, I understand it's like riding a bike. You know, once you box, it's innate. You don't forget how to do it. But I'm just wondering, did you think to yourself, let me knock the rust off, or just, hey, you know what, throw me back in the deep end, let me go?
Well, we trained. You know, I came home after 8.5 years, and then I had to do another 6 months in the halfway house. So while I was in the halfway house, this is where I worked at. You know, Joe Hands, they basically said, come here, this is your job here, you know. So this is where I was at. And my trainer, you know, I came home to him, and he just sharpened me up. You know, I shed about 20 pounds because I was like 240, right? Like 240 something when I came home. I shed about 20 pounds. And he just got me, you know, a lot sharper. And I think the first time we sparred with Steve Cunningham, we sparred him when he fought for the IBF title last year. And after that sparring session with him, we pretty much knew, okay, all right, we still got it. We still got something here, and we can get better.
Yeah, and it's funny because you just started to continue where you left off. You reeled off victory in a row, 14-0. A lot of people were really taken back by your punching power. I mean, you have a penchant for knocking out opponents. I told you before, I had an opportunity to watch your fight against Hector Ferrero down in Atlantic City. You knocked him out. I don't even think anyone sat down. The fight was pretty much over. Your last bout against Raymond Oching, same thing. You knocked him out, and we had an opportunity to talk to you on MCM about that. And I remember I asked you, do you want to get pegged as a fighter who's just a knockout artist? And you're like, you know what, there's a lot more to me. It's hard to judge because your bouts go very fast, but now you're looking at an opponent in Dominic Gwynn, and we'll get to that in a moment. But do you care that people marvel in your knockout power?
Honestly, I think that's what the heavyweight division is missing right now. I mean, come on. Throughout the 70s and 80s, we always had an American heavyweight that could knock you out. We always had several American heavyweights that when you saw them fight, you knew it was going to be some knockdowns and some knockouts, you know? And right now, that's what the heavyweight division is missing. So I think that people are interested in seeing another American heavyweight come up that got that knockout punch, that, you know, that heavyweight power, you know? And we practice precision punching. We practice accurate punching. If you look at all my knockouts, the way that I'm hitting these guys is hard, but at the same time, it's just very precise punching.
Now, your opponent that you're taking on again in Dominic Gwynn, I mean, I've had an opportunity to watch a little tape on him. I know you said that's the management's job to look at the film. And interesting enough, I know a lot of boxers that don't watch too much film. Obviously, I do it. It's part of the job description. He's got a tendency to drop his hands and let his hands go. To me, I hate to use the phrase tailor-made, but against someone of your punching, you know, your prowess, it just seems like it's tailor-made for you. I mean, he's a guy that if he lets his guard down, that's going to be the end of the fight.
Well, if he comes in and he does drop his hands and he lets his guard down and I hit him, I believe he's going to go. But Dominic Gwynn's a very tough guy. He's never been knocked down. He's never been stopped. He has 37 wins, almost 3 times the amount of wins that I have. So he's a very, very worthy opponent. And, you know, I'm not counting him out. I'm not underestimating him, you know, because he has a chance to win this fight, you know. So I'm not going in there to looking for the knockout. I'm just going to do what I've been doing, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I'm prepared to go the distance.
I think you bring up a great point because he's fought Tony Thompson, he's fought Eddie Chambers, he's fought some big-time heavyweights, and you know the guys you fought, yeah, they deserve to get in the ring. But everyone knows you want to get your feet wet. Sometimes you get that soft opponent. As you gradually ascend up the rankings, you know the competition, the quality of your opponent is going to be tougher. Do you go into this fight mentally any different, knowing that he's never been knocked out? He has a lot more professional time in the ring than you have, and he's fought some really tough heavyweights. Does your mentality change at all?
It actually excites me because this once again, this speaks volumes about how serious Amir Mansour is. It speaks volumes about how serious my camp is. That, listen, this guy been going all these years. Put him in the ring with whoever you want to put him in the ring with, and he's going to show up and he's going to do his thing. We don't have the luxury of time on our hands, whereas though we can go around fighting a bunch of bums, trash truck drivers and stuff like that, you know. We're serious about this. We're serious about being a top contender. We're serious about the heavyweight championship coming back to America. We're very serious about that, so that's why we're going after these opponents. Like I said again, you know, twice as many wins as I had and up there in the rankings. That's the only way we could get there if we fight the guys that are ranked.
I can tell you one thing. If he drops his hands in a fight with Amir, it's not going to be a long fight. You know, he's going to definitely have to keep his hands up. But, I mean, I see Amir actually has a good chance of stopping him. I don't want to make any predictions, but Amir is that strong and he's that talented. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. I'll be there to watch it and paying attention.
You mentioned time's not a luxury with you. I mean, it's just a fact. You're 38. You lost 8 years in the ring. And I'm just wondering, do you put more pressure on yourself knowing that you're not only fighting the opponent, but you're fighting the clock? You're trying to beat the clock a little bit because 36, 37, 38, boxers past his prime. Let's be honest. It seems though you've had a lot of rest.
Right.
Your legs are not heavy. You know, you can go a couple more years, but do you find that at night keeping you awake that, you know what, I got to beat the clock. I got to really make a move here?
Well, physically, no. Mentally, realistically, yeah, you know, I do think about that. But, I mean, like, I spar these young guys. They come in here and, you know, they bigger than me, but they're not fast as me. They're not strong as me. They're not agile or athletic as I am. So physically, you know, the age thing isn't a problem with me, you know. And but, you know, like I said, time is of the essence, of course. And so that's why we're going after these guys that are ranked a lot higher than me so that we can get up in these rankings and get it moving.
And let's just say Friday night comes, you're victorious, you win 2 different titles. More importantly, you position yourself in the top 15 WBO. And you mentioned, I mean, let's be honest, there really haven't been any great American heavyweights. You look at the heavyweight division, yeah, you've got the Klitschko brothers, you got Hay, you got Chambers, you got a whole bunch of guys. This country's lagging an American heavyweight. So say best case scenario for you, you win the bout on Friday night, you celebrate, you have fun with your family. What's going on in your mind now? What is the next step? Do you want that big money fight?
Well, I mean, we want a big fight, you know. Of course, I want to get paid for fighting, but I just want the opportunity to fight for a title, the main title. I want that opportunity, you know. I mean, I'm really not impressed by any of the Klitschkos. I'm not impressed by David Hay. I don't think any of them could take my power. They certainly not going to box me the way they've been boxing these guys for the last several years. Nowhere in the world either one of them will beat me like that. I'm going to get in their chest. I will catch them. I'm faster on my feet than them. I'm faster than them. No way you're going to keep me at bay with just sticking your arm out. That arm will be broke by the 3rd round because that's all I will be beaten up on. But to answer your question, it's just not exciting anymore. Look, you had Hay and Klitschko fighting a non-pay-per-view bout. 2 heavyweight champions of the world fighting for a non-pay-per-view bout. That's unheard of in the heavyweight division. That's like seeing a young Mike Tyson and a young Holyfield fighting and it's not pay-per-view. That's like unheard of. But you know why? Because these guys aren't exciting. They're not exciting and they're not giving the people what they're used to seeing in the heavyweight division. When you have 2 world champions fighting a non-pay-per-view bout, that's ridiculous. And a lot of people weren't interested in it. And then as a result of the fight, when we saw the fight, everybody was disappointed.
You know, it's interesting because you fight a lot in Dover Downs, in Dover, Delaware. You have a wonderful following there. A lot of people love to watch you box because in boxing, you can get that quick knockout. You can ooh and you ah. It seems, though, what was maybe lacking, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is you needed a good circle. And you look at your circle that you're keeping right now, from your managers to your trainers to the guys you have in the corner, it kind of seems like that kind of propels you a little bit. And just knowing you have that backing in your corner, it seems as though your mentality might be sky's the limit.
Well, yeah, a lot of times I go in the ring and I look at my opponent and I look at his trainer and I'll be like, your trainer can't beat my trainer. Like, it doesn't even matter if you could beat me or not. Like, a lot of times I compare my trainer to other trainers and I know how good my trainer is, you know. So definitely, you know, I have all the confidence in the world with my trainer. And like, when I came home, I told him, if you're not going to train me, I'm not going to do it. Like, I wouldn't even have came back if he didn't work with me.
And again, a couple more for you, and we appreciate a couple moments. Again, you really bring in the crowd in Delaware. I mean, they love their boxing. A lot of people are saying this is going to be one of the biggest boxing events that Delaware has ever hosted. I mean, what do you say to the crowd that's been supporting you in Delaware?
Well, I just say thank you, man. Like, it's an overwhelming feeling. But, like, I'm going to just keep trying to give them what they expect of me, Good fights. I'm not bringing no trash truck drivers in there, and rob the people of their money. When I get in that ring, my opponent always has a chance to win. He has a better record than me. I'm not fighting no bums. I'm giving y'all, good boxing. I'm giving y'all just good competition. So I think that excites them as well, that they know I'm fighting good guys, and this is what I'm doing to good guys, And like I said, the support is just overwhelming, man. It brings me to tears when I think about it. I'm trying to hold the tears in right now. I'm trying to be a little tough right now, But the fans over there in Delaware, man, are just tremendous, man. It's unbelievable, really. It is.
And we kind of smile when we're doing the broadcast because I never saw a boxer smile so much in the ring. And even when you train, it's almost like you're happy because maybe you've gotten that second chance, but you're really enjoying yourself. And, for people that don't really know what's kind of inside you, what makes you tick, does that come out when you're fighting and you're smiling and you're having fun and you're enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. The other day I was having a really bad day, Monday, and I came in the gym, man, and people were speaking to me and they were whispering like, what's wrong with him? He's mad. And one of my assistant trainers came to my head trainer, Moses, was like, is he mad at us? What's wrong with him? And, but Moses knew how to deal with me. And he just leave him alone. And I sparred. And after I finished sparring, I was happy as a little puppy. You know what I mean? So this is just something that I love doing. You know what I mean? It's a stress relief for me. It's a release for me. And it's something that I really love doing. And like I said, for 8.5 years in a prison cell, I dreamed about this. I visualized it. And to honestly sit in a jail cell and visualize something that you're actually doing, it's almost magical to me. But it just tells me how powerful we really are as human beings.
Now, there's always a flip side to the coin. We talked a little bit about if you can visualize and you see yourself winning the bout, and if you win the bout, what's in your future? What happens if you lose that bout? Does the mentality change? Do you say to yourself, I'm 38, this is it? Or do you get back in the ring and you push yourself even harder?
Failure is not an option. We will not lose. I don't know, man. I have no idea what I would do if I lose. I actually visualize losing a bout. I do. I think about, I've already thought about losing this bout. And the reality is that I know if I lost this bout, I would be sitting somewhere looking at the tape saying, I should have did this, I should have did that, I could have did this, I could have did that. So everything that I could have, would have done, I'm going to do, and I'm going to win.
And last one for you, what would be your dream bout, your dream opponent?
Klitschko. Either one of them.
Would you take that fight in the States?
I would take it in the States. I would take it in their country. I would take it in the parking lot? I would take it anywhere. Yeah, I would take it anywhere. I would take that fight, yes. I would love to fight one of those guys and just reveal them. I would just love to just expose how easy it could have been to beat one of these guys all this time.
Well, look, I mean, the backstory is really inspiring. You manned up to a lot of your mistakes. You're just ascending up the ranks. We wish you the best of luck, and we appreciate a couple moments.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Sprinting out of a hole.
Oh, no, he's ready. Oh,
goodness, Tyrone Davis.
Yes, sir. Yes,
with
sir.
a left and then a right.
And I don't think this guy is getting up.
Oh, Davis floors Wharf. And that's it. It's waved off.
That's it.
Tyrone Davis, welcome to boxing. Welcome back, everyone, to GFL.TV and Comcast Sportsnet. Rich Quinones ringside with a special guest, Frankie Santos de Alba. All right, welcome back, everyone, inside the Rosecroft Raceway. Ringside, Rich Quinones with my broadcast partner, Gary Digital Williams. When it was all said and done, we saw some early stoppages, we saw some knockouts, we saw some fights go the distance. Welcome, everyone, to Against the Ropes. I'm Rich Quinones, on location in gorgeous Gatineau, Quebec. We are live at the Crown Plaza Hotel. There's no way they should allow this to continue.
Sean Clark's going to give him the count. There's no 3-down knockdown rule. There's no standing 8. Osnell Charles has absorbed a lot of punishment tonight, Ron. I am very surprised. Clark is one of the best in the business. He's watching us. Now Charles has got to show him something. Alba with a left, then another right. Alba again.
He's going to stop it.
That's going to be it. And it's over. It's all over. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to Pennsylvania boxing, fans.
A couple moments of first all-pro female card in North American history will take place right here, maybe about 15 or so yards away from us. Jermaine Thomas joins us, Rosie joins us for a couple moments.
Oh, what a left! Oh, Stalfer goes down and pops right back up. He is definitely dazed. Paisley, vicious left, Ron.
Beautifully done by Paisley.
Some would say, well, did you really dream this? Did you really see this coming?
I visualized it every day in the prison cell, man.
That is surprising.
Well, Cartagena now smelling blood. Snaps that jab, goes in with a downstairs, now a left. Working over Miguel Robles. Oh, goodness! Cartagena caught him again. Oh, mercy!
Don't know if he's getting up. These guys, I'm going to tell you, Robles was throwing shots that had they connected, it would have been trouble for Cartagena. He just couldn't connect.
I think the bottom line is I thought this was going to be the test for Miguel Cartagena. Soto off balance in round number 5. Harrison with a left and then another left. Going for a right. Soto goes down. Soto goes down again. A vicious right, and that might be the night of Eddie Soto. Oh, he's going to have a hard time getting up. That's it. It's over. Oh, it's over.
This is Rich Quinones, host of Boxing Around the Globe. We break down the fights. We have analysts, experts. We always try to give you a little bit of an edge with some passion, some entertainment, some insight and knowledge. And that's why you have to keep it locked into Boxing Around the Globe, exclusively on the Ringside Network.
Boxing Around the Globe. Catch it on the Ringside Network.
Hello, boxing fans. This is Alex Hamer, boxing expert. Join me on Boxing Around the Globe on the Ringside Network, your ringside seat. Sergey, how's your training coming along for November 8th? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for any day.
Let me ask you about your strategy. I understand that you're undefeated, and your opponent, Bernard Hopkins, calls himself the Alien. Do you think this fight will go the distance?
I have only one strategy: get my next win. And that's it. Yeah.
So your answer is it doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it.
Yeah, doesn't matter, like
right.
Score decision, knock him out, like anyway.
Decision, whatever. It doesn't matter.
It will be even interesting if it will be a long distance. It will be good action.
Right. Sergey, when will your camp start in earnest, and where are you going to train?
Usually I use two parts of my training camp before my fight, and first of two will be in California, and second one in Florida.
Okay.
At my hometown, not hometown, like where I live.
I understand.
Yes.
Sergey, if you could say anything to Bernard Hopkins right now, what would that be?
What I want to say?
To him.
Nothing. Everything.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Everything will stay in the ring. I'm not talking, I'm a fighter.
I understand. Yeah. All right, Sergey, thank you very much, and good luck to you,
thank you,
on November 8th, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Спасибо.
Спасибо.
So welcome then to a ringside seat at this giant Astrodome, Houston, Texas, to watch this best-known face in the world there, Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay, staring into the face of Buster Mathis, who qualifies as his heaviest rival for 10 years. Calling it, of course, inevitably here, Muhammad goes to the mountain. 16 stone 3 pounds Muhammad Ali, 18 stone 4 pounds Mathis. And scheduled for 12 rounds. Well, now, how is Mathis going to try and come at Ali? He's been saying all week that he's going straight at him from the bell. And Ali's saying that the extra weight, the heaviest he's ever been, 16.3, will make no difference to his dancing. This is quite a handicap if Mathis can use this weight. He has twice defeated Joe Frazier as an amateur. He lost to Frazier in 11 rounds as a pro, but the judges had the fight even up to the 10th round. And already I think he's hit Ali more than about 6 of opponents I could think. He's walked in and thrown a left hook. At least he's got through somewhere with it, Mathis. A great deal now does depend on the mental attitude of Mathis. He's been known to freeze a bit in previous fights. He had 23 winning fights before he went in with Frazier. Lost that one and then had some disputes with management, and psychologically he was complaining. He said he wanted a long rest. He took 32 months out of the ring, and he now says, I'm absolutely a new man and I have no fear whatsoever for Ali. The referee just been named then is Chris Jordan in this rather decorative shirt. Looks as though he's a pop singer found his way into the ring. Well, if Mathis can lean on Ali like this could tire him. If this extra poundage, he's 5 pounds heavier than he was in July, 5.5 pounds heavier than he was against Frazier last March, but he's getting that rapier left hand going now. What a superb boxing artist this man is. Well, I'll hand it to Mathis for at least going looking for Ali. It's no use standing there and waiting to come for you. It's the only way you can beat is to crowd the way Frazier did. Although, of course, there was quite a lot of people who didn't think that Frazier deserved that decision. A low punch there, and the referee hasn't bothered with it. Yes, he has now. He's told Mathis, perhaps he heard me saying that. This fellow Mathis might be one of the biggest underdogs in history against Ali, but I can assure you he's no mug the way he's fighting this round. Well, Ali there just was having a look at Mathis, who at the moment is not even bothering to sit down. He's going to stand between rounds. I wonder how long that can keep up. And Ali's saying, I don't know what everybody's worrying about my weight for. I'm a big fellow. I'll never get back to the 15 stone 11 pounds that I fought against Cooper way back in 1963. That was a non-title fight at Wembley. And that in hot climates I need a lot of liquor and I'm entitled to blow up to 16.3. That's about my best weight. And Mathis, at one time, when he was the national AAU champion, he weighed in at a mere 24 stone, and he said, I need the weight on me, and it was a mistake to try and drag it all off. So into round 2, and we'll see if Mathis continues to at least carry the fight and take the chance of being hit with this left hand. Well, from close up here, I can assure you that it doesn't look to me as though Ali's carrying too much weight. From the exhibitions that we saw in Britain, this is a remarkable achievement to get that off. He's got off about 20 pounds since he was in Britain. And there's just a recap then of Ali's record. And the one for the uninitiated, of course, is that he lost to Joe Frazier last March, 15 round points. Well, I hand it to Mathis for trying his luck there. That's the first right-hander he's chanced, and he almost tagged the big man.
Come on, Patrick! Come on, Patrick!
And they're yelling in Mathis' corner for him to go forward and throw punches, take chances. There's this one man standing between him and the chance to make $1 million. And in Ali's corner, of course, Boudini Brown is saying to the champ's going to give him a boxing lesson. He doesn't accept that Ali is no longer the champ. What a great left-hand punch that is of Ali. It really is a torture. Keep flicking out. And it bounces all the sweat off of Mathis' face there as it lands. Keeps pecking away there. And they're saying, keep boxing, champ. Don't get rough. You'll get him. That's what they're calling in Ali's corner. They obviously don't want Ali to go in and mix it. Well, the mountain looks a bit immovable at the moment. He's a very big man, but he isn't really a fat man because he's been fat all his life. Out, here he comes. So into round 5, and it looked as though Mathis said something to Ali then. Well, I think that may be asking for trouble. And Ali's corner man there, Boudini Brown, who calls out every advice going, says, come on, dance, you're not in a street fight. Reflex of Ali is absolutely amazing. He stands within punching distance and then just flicks his head back as he sees a punch coming at him. Mathis not quite sure how to attack. He really is confused. He's trying to pin Ali on the rope, but he's frightened to throw himself at him in case he comes hurtling through the ropes, being sidestepped, rather like the bull on the matador. And as Mathis stands square, so Ali rips in these uppercuts. Now these are the times when I don't accept that Ali's carrying an opponent. He's really putting punches together there. He's trying to take Mathis out, and if he can't do it, then he'll probably get back on his bike for a while and give us a dancing act. Slight fallacy about the way that Ali finishes opponents. He can't always call the tune, although he's had about 18 fights where he's correctly predicted the round, which isn't bad going. Well, that's one of the rare punches from Mathis that did get through there, and no joking. Towards the end of round 5, well, it looked to me as though Ali said to Dundee, what happened there? He hit me, and he just sort of ambled back to that corner as though he was showing just a little bit of pain, and there we are on a replay of that 5th round. And there was that left hook there that landed in the ribs first. The right hand missed. And just that final cleaning up process as Mathis looks 6 feet tall. In fact, he's 6 feet 3. And I think was urged on by that punch as we're into the 6th round. And he tries it again immediately. Well, now this really looks a bit interesting now, because for the moment Ali has got the exhibition part over with. And again, Ali fell into that left hook. That was almost a sucker punch. You really could see that one coming. Although Mathis has been inactive, he's certainly trained solidly for the last 8 months, almost every day. He assures us he's done the hardest training spell of his life, and he thinks that long rest, in fact, did him more good than anything, because he got his mental balance back again. He was a bit upset by the fight game. And there we go, we got a chance here of the Ali shuffle, I suspect. And the other fella's doing it now, so now we've really got a tango for 2 going. Take your partners for a bloodbath. There's no doubt about it, everything happens when Ali's in action. And Mathis almost fell over his feet as he tried to impersonate Ali's shuffle. Well, now I know why that referee wore the pop-style shirt. And what a tremendous shuffle again there. This really is a come dancing session. Well, Mathis might be taking the most punches, but he isn't allowing Ali to completely upstage him at the dancing game. He's pretty light on his feet for 18 stone, 4 pounds. Well, there you are. This is the first time I've ever seen a replay of footwork in heavyweight boxing. So you see how this 18 stone 4 pounds there can dance up and down with Clay back to camera. And the Mountain really dancing all around, and I can tell you on this rosin here they sounded like a couple of mice scampering over a tin roof. So Buster Mathis now wondering what his tactics are got to be, or what dance he's got to have in the next round. Well, we're into round 7, and there were a lot of cynics saying that Mathis would be massacred in the first round, but Big Buster's still functioning pretty well, so it seems that ITV has the real fight of the week. Well, now I'm wondering whether Ali's punches are hurting Mathis at all, because he isn't getting through so much now. It's true he's backing off quite a bit and still trying to tire this Mountain. Keeps pecking away with the left hand, Ali, there, so there's no danger that he's winning on points. It's incredible how he switches from displaying contempt to a little bit of respect within one punch. If Mathis gets through, then he realizes it isn't quite so easy as he thought. Well, if this Ali's heaviest ever, then at 16-3, certainly a remarkable athlete. In the 7 rounds, still dancing, but Mathis is trying to slow him down. And it may be a mistake for Ali to be pinned against the ropes in his own corner there. Just like a piston coming out, that left hand there. Really, that used to be the English style of left hand. I wonder what happened to that. And Mathis has to go in a crouch now to try and avoid that left hand. So into the 8th round, and at this stage I would say a good chance of going the scheduled distance of 12, because Ali has been unable to stop Mathis in his tracks. There's a lot of excitement there with that punch that got through, but it didn't seem to harm him. Seems that Mathis is sorting him out in the same spot right above this commentary position to lunge in with those left hooks against the ropes. Referee scoring, by the way, with judges on a 10-point system. And again there, he sinks that left hand to the short rib. That's the kind of punch that could slow Ali. But he's talking to the corner there now. Ali's actually calling out to Mathis his seconds. Don't get excited. He doesn't only taunt the opposition, he taunts the opposition management. And I should think they're feeling a little out of pocket at this stage, because they put up $200,000 of Ali's $300,000 purse just for the chance to get Mathis in the ring with him. It looks a little bit as though Mathis is not only tiring under Ali's blows, but under his own efforts now, lugging this weight around with him after 8 rounds. And this is the same position that Mathis has been sorting out. He roots Ali to this spot. That's Harry Wiley there, who's in with Ali. He used to train Sugar Ray Robinson, so he really does have all the top men around him in the corner, but when that bell goes, he's still his own boss. And we're going to get a close-up now and a replay of the 8th round, as I think you will see Ali calling out to Mathis's cornermen, because they thought that Mathis had got through with punches and were getting a little bit excited. So into the 9th round now. It looks as though they'd left the stool for Buster. No, they've removed that, as though they knew he was coming back to that corner pretty quickly. Oh yes, he means business, Ali, now. He's really putting these punches together. But full marks to Mathis. He's trying for his life. Now he more or less fell over there. This is a mandatory 8 count, no matter how quickly he gets up. No, the referee does not constitute that as a knockdown. He's making sure that he wipes the rosin from the gloves. That was not a knockdown. And there's a bit of puffing now around Mathis' face. Now this is where Ali tries to set the man up for the kill again. He bides his time because he really can't always pick the finishing punch. That's a slight fallacy on his part. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that extensive tour of Europe is now catching up with Ali. All the travelling and the dining that he had and the speeches probably made his jaw ache, and also he's just lugging now a little bit. He's not quite as sharp as he was, even though Mathis is going back. He's the one who's taking the punishment. And the referee almost being caught up there with that wrestling match. So now we're wondering if Ali's trying to finish this before the 12th. He left it until the last round with Oscar Bonavena, which you saw on ITV, and then again with Jimmy Ellis. He really is cutting these quick and successful wins of his when he knocks a man down. He's really leaving it a bit too late now. And I mean, maybe cutting the exit a bit too fine if he thinks he can stop this fellow in the last round. So into the 10th round, and I think that surprised quite a lot of people, including Ali. He didn't make a prediction, but it was felt that he should stop Mathis about halfway.